socially distancing from us since day one. They're not 6 feet away, they're miles away. The New York Times reported that during COVID, the Upper East Side of Manhattan became a ghost town.
Mm.
This is where all of the ultra wealthy people live in
Mm-hmm.
Manhattan on the Upper East Side in the 20 and $30 million townhomes.
Mm.
They said tracking cell phones, keep that in mind too, in this
Mm.
age of technology. The New York Times said the cell phone carriers were tracking cell phones in the population to see whether or not there was compliance with the shelter in place rules. But what they also picked up in that was that the Upper East Side was abandoned. Why? Because white people went way out to the eastern shores of Long Island to
Mm.
their mansions, where they live on acres and acres of property, where they live on the ocean and they can get fresh salt air. And
Mm.
all of their needs are met by vendors and servants, which bring these things to them.
Mm.
It was the working class, it's the Black community and the poor white community that suffered all of the impact of this crisis. And we suffered most from the incompetence of the US government, because, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad stated in The Fall of America, Allah took down the educational system in the 70s.
Mm.
And as a result of that, the so-called experts that come in front of you are not educated.
Mm.
They're
Mm-hmm.
uninformed.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as you saw with the scandal, rich people pay money to get Harvard degrees and Yale degrees for their children, even while their children say, I don't even want to go to college.
Right.
George Bush went to Yale because he was grandfathered, because his father graduated from Yale.
Yeah.
And you look around at the buildings on these campuses and you see the names on those buildings, these are donors. And as a result of that, you have a complete dumbing down, not only of the poor Black people at the bottom, but the wealthy whites. So America has become the third world country that she loves to call
Mm.
other nations that are
Mm-hmm.
primarily populated by original people.
Wow.
And so this is a nation that we need to stop trying to hang on to,
Mm.
because she's going down. We
Mm-hmm.
need to obey God through his Christ, and now their messenger among us, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We have to get over the envy and the jealousy and the feelings of inferiority that make us A, reject Black leadership, and B, fail to see divinity in a
Mm.
human being. Our parents, when they got word from the Union soldiers in 1865 when they arrived in Galveston, Texas, and they first heard that Lincoln had issued an Emancipation Proclamation before his assassination, and now that day is celebrated as Juneteenth. When they got that word and one of the Union of commanders read it to them, they laid down their tools and walked
Mm-hmm.
off the plantation.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know where they were going. There was no GPS. You couldn't
Mm-hmm.
call anybody on your cell phone, but they began walking. They knew north from south and east from west. And in the slave narratives, it is said that the first thing they did, those who were living there at the time, they said the first thing we did was look for our lost ones, look for family members who had been sold away from us. So A, we wanted nothing to do with them. And B, more than anything, we wanted to reunite among our own. Integration has cost us the desire and the will to be with one another and to do for self.
Yes,
ma'am. Thank you.
All praises due to Allah. Well, thank you so much. No, you're giving us great food for thought. You made me think about, I'm watching some of these African sort of like comedies and love stories on Netflix. And I'm amazed to see how they're living in this subtle conditioning of us has us prepared to see Africa in one way. But when you look at it, many of their homes, their town homes and everything are looking much better than many of us are in what's said to be one of the most wealthiest nations on earth. So,
Yes.
you know, and I was going to go into that was I was reading about Kenya and some other places that have been clearly colonized by Europeans. And, you know, because if we're talking about separation, I'm trying to look at people who were once either enslaved, colonized, captive, or in bondage to somebody. Right. How did they fare when they went on their own?
That's right.
You know, because I think if we're honest, that's a big prevailing fear in Black America. Have you encountered that in your travels or holding town halls? And
no, absolutely. We have been under the rule of our slave masters and their offspring for so many generations that we've lost the vision. And remember, without a vision, my people perish. And if you remember, and I was heartbroken when we lost our brother, Chadwick Boseman.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at how Allah works and how he utilizes every facet of a society to appeal to us to come out of her. And when Black people saw the film Black Panther, and they saw this country named Wakanda that was technologically advanced for the first time, really since slavery, we were given a visual representation of what life was like. And to your point about looking at these cities and countries for ourselves, someone was sending around a short video on the city of Wuhan in China.
Yes.
Where it said that the virus originated in the laboratory there. Wuhan, you know, I promise you, if you ask the average person in America, especially Black people, to give an image or draw a picture of Wuhan, they're going to give you the wet market. Because that's all the United States media shows. When they reference Wuhan, they show you this wet market. That is a street in Wuhan. The city of Wuhan looks like a vision out of the 25th century.
Yeah.
It is so incredibly advanced and so architecturally beautiful that it is shocking when you see it, because America has fallen so far behind in all of the essentials of a progressive society that the only way she remains in power to any degree is having been able to persuade Black people here that she is the great power that she claims to be.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing holding her up is our thoughts. Her time ended in 1914. Minister Farrakhan said to Black people, if you stop thinking about the white man, he will cease to exist. He's the product of an idea of a Black man, Dr. Yaqub. His beginnings are in the same laboratory where they manipulate these viruses. And so we need to now appeal to our people to understand we're at a point now, we don't have the luxury of wondering how things will be on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Mathematics is taking the known to figure out the unknown. Let's look at what we know. We're dying by the thousands. Brother Student Minister Ishmael.
Daily.
Yes, daily. Brother Minister Ishmael laid out some numbers a few Sundays ago on abortions.
Yes.
Millions and millions of Black people murdered in the womb.
Yeah.
Because we have been convinced that we should not carry children to term. This is a mindset, as Brother Keith pointed out earlier. And so what I notice in these town halls is that it takes very little to point out to our people, because they're sort of wandering around under the spell of, and Trump, I have to agree with him on one thing: fake news, the media. We don't read, we don't think analytically. And so whatever comes across the airwaves on the Today Show or whatever we see on social media, and remember, let's take as an example this vaccine. Anyone that posts any research, any information that offers something other than the vaccination or criticizes the vaccination gets shut down. Google is a vaccine partner. Google has invested $761 million in the development of vaccines. This is a race by the pharmaceutical cartel to get to market, because this promises to kill two birds with one stone, to depopulate the African continent and to reduce our population here in America, and then to make trillions, not billions, trillions of dollars. Now that you have Black billionaires, we now have Black billionaires that we don't even know who they are. Okay. Yes. You pointed out to me, Brother Minister Rodney, years ago, a significant number, I think 9 or 10 million Black people.
9 million, yeah. 9
million. That means there's no reason we should be in the condition that we're in other than how we think. But now that Black people have 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion, that's a pauper now. The founder of Amazon, I just saw the latest Forbes richest people in America list. The founder of Amazon has a net worth of $179 billion with a B dollars. While people live under bridges and live in shopping carts in this country. So what COVID did was reveal the underbelly of America to the rest of the world. And other countries have already moved on from this virus. They have applied therapies and treatments that are working, but we're being held hostage while we wait for this multi-trillion-dollar deadly vaccine to be brought to market. And then we will be told that COVID is gone.
Wow. Yeah.